Hello, I am Catherine. As you know, I make videos in English, German and Greek. And my theme is mostly end time. You find my videos in my website. I write always in the information, but also in my channel Magd Jesu. I spoke the last time in some videos about Daniel, and today I will continue with Daniel. As you know, the vice-president of America was in Europe, in Munich, to speak about security, about Ukraine, etc. And the Europeans were totally shocked. After this speech, they were and still are totally shocked. They can't understand the world anymore. But you know, in the last decades, all the West and also Europe, we had a good time, prosperity time. But what we did, we spent, of course, we had ourselves good life, but we spent also the money for Africa, for Asia, for South America. I mean, the only people who help Africa and other poor countries is the West, nobody else. So we give money here, money there. Perhaps you live in Africa and you think and you say, I didn't see anything of this money. Well, it went to the hands of your government. And perhaps your government, your president or others, his family, bought some palace and villas and whatever somewhere in the world, and have their Sportwagen and Ferrari and Lamborghini and whatever. It's time in Africa for the rich people to pay taxes. Then there will be not so many poor people in Africa. But what happened? We didn't give money for military. We didn't give money for things that are important for a state. So we trusted America will be always here and they will do the work and give the money. And now they are surprised that President Trump, I am not pro-Trump, but when he is right, he's right. And now the West has a lot of debts, overdebted. We don't have money. We print money and we give to Ukraine. And we give so many weapons that now we don't even have enough weapons. But we know that the Ukraine, some people in the Ukraine sold a lot of weapons to drug cartels in Mexico or terrorist groups or whatever. The Ukraine is not what people tell us. What is the difference between Ukraine and Russia? I mean, it's about the same. And now they are shocked. And today I read in Spiegel, it's a German newspaper, that they even think there is a thought to bring Chinese army to Ukraine, to stop the war and bring Chinese army to the Ukraine. Can you imagine that? We are crazy. Why? Because we are so godless. And when you become godless, you become foolish. Foolish. And every day we have knife attacks. Not every day, every hour, you could say. rapes. Some days ago, a Syrian man began to kill people in Austria with a knife. Another Syrian man who saw that, and he was in a van, he led his van against this young man to stop him from killing. And what is happening now? This Syrian who stopped the murderer, now he needs police protection because other Muslims want to kill him. Can you imagine this? We are in Europe. These people came here as refugees. We helped them. We gave them everything. But Arabic people, Muslims people, they will not tell you thank you. They don't know that, these words. But they dream to kill you. So now, somebody, a Muslim, a leader in Switzerland, he says, yes, we need Islamic counselors in our refugee camps. No, we don't need. We don't need more Islam in Europe. We need less. You can take your people and go back to Turkey or Saudi Arabia or Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Qatar, Oman, but they don't want you there. They know why. These murderers, they come here as adults, so they have parents. What did the parents give to their children? What did they tell them? Hate against the unbelievers, against other religions, no respect for other people. Dear Muslims, are you human? Don't you have respect for other people? And you know, some of these murderers, they kill their own people because when you are in this bloodthirst, you don't see if a child is Turkish or Syrian or German or whatever. So they killed even children from Turkey, from Morocco, and. In this bloodthirst, you don't see, you are blind. You want only to kill. And these people who come, they know, they have information about everything. They know where are the mosques. So they can go to the mosque. And these men can tell them some good things. We don't need more. But you know what Islam is doing? They send their people here. The people make problems, and then they tell you, oh, you have problems. You need caliphate. You need Sharia. They are so clever. They are so mean. Don't tell me that Islam is a religion of peace. Even your own people, like Mohammed Hijab, he makes a lot of videos and he's in many debates. He says we don't have to apologize for Islam. Islam is a war religion. And in the hadiths it's written, you become Muslim or you pay an extra taxes or you have your head away. They tell us this every day. And then we have here in our newspaper a young woman, influencer or whatever. She's an Albanian woman, but she lives in Germany. So she tells us to the Swiss people, I don't like Swiss. In Swiss, I don't find anything good, only Toblerone, only the chocolate Toblerone. But you have a lot of Albanians in your country, we know that. So the Albanian flag has the eagle, and the Swiss flag is nothing. So you could put the eagle on the cross of the Swiss flag, so it become more worth. Can you imagine? These people came from countries who are really, we gave them everything, and they tell us that nothing is good in our countries, and that we should accept their flag. She means take over. We know what you want. We know exactly what you want. We tell us every day, even your children, 10 years old, 11 years old, they tell us what they think, what they prepare. Some days ago, a 71-year-old man in Switzerland, he was in the train, and an Afghani man. How respectless are these Afghani, Syrian people, etc.? Totally respectless. I ask me, what did the parents give them for words? I mean, I can imagine they gave them the hate against everybody who is not Muslim and the belief we will take over the West. Well, you will not take over the West, but you will be used like all the others for the world dictator. And in the last 3.5 years, when the world dictator says he is God, you will have to bow down before him, like all the others. So somebody stood up and helped him and stood against this Afghani man, but all the others who were in the train, they did like they don't see. So governments are asking, what should we do with these people? It's very simple. Send them back home. And if Afghanistan doesn't want them, or Syria, they can go to Saudi Arabia, to Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Oman, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, yeah, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, oh my goodness, wherever. There are so many other countries, but they don't want them. Why? They know why. So you see, I love the Islamic people, I love everybody, I love Muslims, but when they do wrong, they do wrong. And Islam, there is no 2, 3 Islams. There is only one Islam. It's radical. The problem in the Middle East is not Arabs and Israelis. It's Islam. Islam wants that the Palestinians, the Arabs in Israel, are forever refugees, to have a reason for war against Israel. This is the only reason. And our lefties and Greens are so foolish in the West, and the Muslims know that. Why they are foolish? The Imam of Australia, who is against the radicals, I mean against the Sunnis, he said they know that they are foolish because they don't have worths, they don't have things, foundation. The leftists and the Greens in the West, they gave up God, Jesus Christ, but they want to be more Christian than the Christians. They want to be more better than God himself. They want to be lovely, let everything go down, who cares? This is foolishness. Foolishness. So I continue with Daniel 11. We saw Alexander the Great died, 4 other generals took over the kingdom, and then we see wars between the Diadochus, especially the kingdom of Syria, Seleucids. They had not only Syria, but part of Turkey, Syria, Iran, Iraq, until Pakistan. War between Syria, the North Kingdom, and the South Kingdom of Egypt. And we see finally in the verse 20 that somebody stood up as king of Syria, but he didn't have the right to be the king, but he was very clever, and he became the king, and he was a very contemptible person to whom royal majesty has not been given. He came without warning, he took over by flatteries, and he began to fight against Egypt, and always he had to pass Israel, because Israel is between Asia and Africa. So, and every time he went through Israel, he killed, he destroyed, he did what the Arabic countries are doing for 3,500 years now, until today. They tried always to eliminate Israel. But Antiochus Epiphanes, the king, he was the king who went to Jerusalem in the temple. He killed many people. He sacrificed a pig in the temple of God, and he put the statue of choice of the gods of Greece, Babylon, Egyptian gods, Roman gods, he put in the temple, in the Holy of Holies. But his story is until 25, verse 36. With 36 begin another story. Why? Antiochus Epiphanes didn't die in Israel. He died in a war in Babylon. He went against Parthia. It is in the north of Babylon or Iraq or Iran. He lost the war. He came back to Babylon. He was so depressed, but he died there. But before his death, he knew what he experienced is the judgment of God, because he went in the temple of God. He knew it is the judgment of God. Now, with the first 36 begins the story of end time of the Antichrist. I read. And the king shall do as he wills. It's about the Antichrist, the world dictator. He shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak astonishing things against the God of gods. So he makes himself to God finally. He shall prosper till the indignation is accomplished. For what is decreed shall be done. Everything is prepared. We see now how all these figures, the puppets, take their place. He shall pay no attention to the gods of his fathers, or to the one beloved by woman. We know idolatry, the worship of many gods, began in the Arabic world, in the Middle East. The Arabic people in the Middle East had many gods until Muhammad. And in the Kaaba stone were 365 gods, every day another god. But Muhammad grew up between Jewish people, Christians, Catholics, etc. As I know, his uncle was Catholic, so he heard a lot of about Jesus, about the Bible, and he decided for one God of all these gods and made him to Allah. The God who was beloved by women in the Middle East is and was Tammuz. It was his name. He shall not pay attention to any other god, for he shall magnify himself above all. He will make himself God. He shall honor the god of fortress instead of this. Who is the god of fortress? It can be Ares, Apollon, Greek gods. A god whom his fathers did not know he shall honor with gold and silver, with precious stones and costly gifts. He shall deal with the strongest fortress with the help of a foreign god. Those who acknowledge him he shall load with honor. He shall make them rulers over many and shall divide the land for a price. The Antichrist, the world dictator, will attack Israel, come to Israel, to Jerusalem, make himself to God, and then he will begin to give land to the 10 people or others who will reign with him the world. I don't believe myself that Trump is the Antichrist. There are people who make videos about this. I don't think that Trump has so much time. If he really reigns for 4 years, it is good possible. He has absolute the character. I mean, he's very prideful man. He is very whatever. And he said Gaza, he will buy Gaza, he will make Gaza to Riviera and this and that. Gaza belongs to Israel. The UN and the world pushed Israel to give Gaza away to the Arabs. But Gaza belongs to Israel. And Israel belongs to God. And who touch Israel, touch God. And will have his judgment. And the time of the end, the king of the south shall attack him. So we see now again, in the last days, we will see wars between the north and the south, Egypt. It's funny, not? But the king of the north shall rush upon him like a whirlwind, with chariots and horsemen, and with many ships. And he shall come into countries and shall overflow and pass through. He shall come into the glorious land, this is Israel, and tens of thousands shall fall, but this shall be delivered out of his hand. So he is in Israel, he destroys, he kills everybody who doesn't accept his laws. He will forbid the faith to God, Yahweh, or Jesus Christ. He will burn the Bibles. He will change rules, laws, etc. He will declare himself to God. But Edom, Moab, and the main part of the Ammonites will be not given in his hands. What is this? Edom, Moab, Ammonites, Jordan, the state of Jordan. Why? Because, can you remember what Jesus said in Matthew 24, 15, 16, the verse? When you see the abomination of desolation in the temple, flee to the mountains, flee to the desert. And we know from Apocalypse, Revelation 12, the woman, the people of God will be protected. Where? In Jordan. We know Petra. Petra was always, it is between Jordan and Israel. Petra was always a place of refuge, of protection of people, different people, also of Jewish people. And we know from Revelation 19, I think, that Jesus will, when he comes for Armageddon, he comes from Bozrah. What is Bozrah? It's an old name of Petra, or it's a place near Petra. And it says his clothes will be full of blood. Why? Because there will be the camp of the holy people, protected by God, but surrounded of armies of the Antichrist. So Jesus is coming to his people, he fight these armies and then go to Israel to fight the Antichrist. This is what I understand, and surely other people. He shall stretch out his hand against the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. So he will take over Egypt. He shall become a ruler of the treasuries of gold and of silver, and all the precious things of Egypt, and the Libyans and the Cushites shall follow in his train. He will not only take Egypt, he will also push the Libyans and the Sudanese. Cush was Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan today. It was other borders in this time. But can you remember? If you read Ezekiel 38-39, it speaks about the wars of Gog from Magog. Gog is the Antichrist. Gog will be the world dictator. Is he from Turkey, Syria, Turkey, or is he from Russia? We will see that in the very near future, because a lot of things are coming. And what says there? The war of Gog and Magog. If you give in my channel the word Gog, you will find 2 videos about these wars. If you don't find in my website, you find in Magd Jesu. It is written also there that Cush and Libyans they must follow him, even if they don't want. And Iran, Persia too. Gog is the Antichrist. He will push them to go with him. But news from the east and the north shall alarm him, and he shall go out with great fury to destroy and devote many to destruction. But now we see he hears big armies, and we know the Euphrates will be dry up, so an army of 200 millions will come over. Could it be the Chinese army? I don't know. And he hears an army from the north will come against him. Could it be? There is an Arabic teacher, Bible teacher, Walid Shebat. He says, I am not with him in everything, but I heard him say that there are bad people from the north of Israel and there are good people. He believes that the Antichrist will come from Turkey and that the Russians will come against him. I don't know, I am not sure, we will see. And he shall pitch his palatial tents between the sea and the glorious holy mountain, yet he shall come to his end with none to help him. So he is between Israel, Jerusalem, the holy mountain of God, where is the temple of God, and the Mediterranean Sea. But Jesus Christ will come to kill him and take over. So you see what one of the most dangerous countries today is Turkey, in the Middle East, and for Europe, for the West. And we see what Erdogan is doing. He supports terrorist groups, he makes wars, he kills, he is doing what he wants without consequences. If somebody else will do what Erdogan is doing, we will put sanctions on him, we will bring him before the International Court. Not Netanyahu, Erdogan. But nobody is doing anything. He prepares a lot of warships. He wants back the Osmanian Empire. Turkey always wanted to take over Europe. They came before Vienna, you must imagine, and the kings of Europe and the Catholic Church pushed them away. Today doesn't need wars. He builds one mosque after the other in our countries, and he sent his people as refugees. And what is the West doing? Oh, we sent Mrs. von Leyen with some billions to him. So, and what he did, nobody is speaking about that. He put Assad away from Syria, and he brought Jolani and ISIS as government of Syria. Can you imagine that? So now Israel has not only the Houthis from Yemen, the Hamas from Gaza, the Hezbollah from Lebanon, Iran, but also the ISIS from the north. Can you imagine that? The ISIS now is on the borders of Israel in the north. And Mr. Giuliani, he was a terrorist. He was, they even put money on his head, but now he is the president of Syria. He came somehow like Antiochus Epiphanes could say. A lot of things are coming. Our governments are foolish, or they did like foolish. Perhaps they have an agenda. Our leftists and Greens want to be more lovely than God. They want to be more Christians than Christians. But when you take the laws of God and put away God and took out Christ, then you are foolish, because the law says love others as yourself. But when you take Christ out, you love others more than yourself. You love the children of others more than your children. Your children are killed, but who cares? You destroy yourself and your country because you want to be more Christian than the Christians. Foolishness, absolutely foolishness. Come back to Jesus, repent. You don't know how much time you have. Goodbye, God bless you.